Greetings, Earthlings. Yes, of course, it's magic fun time with your favourite space lords, Dr. Ergo Phizmiz and Depresstival. And are you, like us, I think I can speak for Lottie here, waking up every day thinking, oh my God, the horror, the utter unthinkable horror of the reality that we are living in. I'm very curious about all the kind of people who say that you can think things and manifest reality. Well, what have all those people been thinking about? And Totnes is a good place because there's a lot of manifestors in Totnes, aren't they? Loads of manifestors listening right now. Well, if you're a manifestor, what have you been thinking about? Because reality is, given the 2.5-year genocide and what is now more widely being referred to Holocaust in the Gaza Strip, the rather significant problem of climate change, the climate crisis.
Just don't even think about that.
The release of the Epstein files as a giant bulk of 3 million documents, which I will say I have not been looking through and I keep a distance from, but just a brief look into the Epstein files. There are the worst things, far worse than anything I've ever imagined or read or whatever. Number 4, Donald Trump appears to have started World War III, and whatever happens over the next few days, it's gonna be exciting. And so as part of my approach to the current world, I have been making myself feel better by doing things like this, haven't I, Lottie?
Oh yeah. Can I add sound effects in the form of that?
Oh yeah, why not? This can be the sound of space. It'll be like space.
This is the rocket.
Yes.
The rocket taking off.
Come on. Yeah.
Star trekking across the universe on the Starship Enterprise under Captain Kirk. Star trekking across the universe, boldly going forward because we can find reverse.
I'm disappointed it doesn't have the lyrics of these bits here.
There's Klingons on the starboard bow, starboard bow, starboard bow. There's Klingons on the starboard bow, Jim.
That sound effect wasn't on for very long. This is a bit silent.
It's life, Jim, but not as we know it, not as we know it, not as we know it. It's life, Jim, but not as we know it, not as we know it. Captain, there's Klingons on the starboard bow, starboard bow, starboard bow. There's Klingons on the starboard bow, Jim. Star trekking across the universe on the Starship Enterprise under Captain Kirk. Star trekking across the universe, boldly going forward because we can find reverse. It's worse than that, he's dead, Jim, dead, Jim, dead, Jim. It's worse than that, he's dead, Jim, dead, Jim, dead. It's life, Jim, but not as we know it, not as we know it, not as we know it. It's life, Jim, but not as we know it, not as we know it. Captain, Klingons on the starboard bow, starboard bow, starboard bow, starboard bow, Jim. Yeah. We come in peace, shoot to kill, shoot to kill, shoot to kill. We come in peace, shoot to kill, men. It's worse than that, he's dead, Jim, dead, Jim, dead, Jim. It's worse than that, he's dead, Jim, dead, Jim, dead. Well, it's life, Jim, but not as we know it, not as we know it, not as we know it. It's life, Jim, but not as we know it, not as we know it. Captain, there's Klingons on the starboard bow, starboard bow, starboard bow. There's Klingons on the starboard bow, scrape them off, Jim. Star trekking across the universe on the Starship Enterprise under Captain Kirk. Star trekking across the universe, boldly going forward and things are getting worse.
You cannot change laws of physics, laws of physics, laws of physics. Can it change laws of physics? Laws of physics, Jim. We come in peace, shoot to kill, shoot to kill, shoot to kill. We come in peace, shoot to kill. Scotty, beat me up. It's worse than that, he's dead, Jim, dead, Jim, dead, Jim. It's worse than that, he's dead, Jim, dead, Jim, dead. Well, it's life, Jim, but not as we know it, not as we know it, not as we know it. It's life, Jim, but not as we know it, not as we know it. Captain, aye, stab about, string on the stab about, Jim. Aye, you can't change the script, Jim. Oh, you see, Jimmy, it's worse than that. It's physics, Jim. Bridge the engine room. What back tonight? Oh, if I give her any more, she'll blow, Captain. Star trekking across the universe.
That is Enterprise under Captain Kirk.
Star trekking across the universe.
Only going forward as we cover the universe.
Trekking across the universe. Star trekking across the universe. Star trekking across the universe. Slowly going forward as we come far in reverse. Now, when was the last time you watched Eyes Wide Shut, listener?
Oh, God.
Now, you're in for a different experience when you watch it this time.
I was thinking about Star Trek. What was I thinking about? Oh yeah, Kate Mulgrew, who plays what's her name? Janeway, Captain Janeway. She's in
the adaptation of Stephen King's brilliant novel, Mr. Mercedes. Yes, lovable murderer.
I was just writing to her on our website to tell her.
Were you?
Well, before we started this, I was writing.
Oh.
So it's weird that you actually started singing that. Or maybe I started writing her because of that.
Maybe, I'm not sure.
I just wanted to tell her that she was really great, because if you haven't, she is really marvellous in that. I mean, she's amazing. It's a genuinely brilliant performance.
Yeah, she's wonderful.
And a double act partner as well.
Yeah, and there aren't enough.
The role of the dad in the Matilda stage musical.
Yeah, it's a real lack. You pointed out a real lack in society there. There aren't enough lovable murderers. All of the murderers, I mean, they're all horrible, aren't they? You know? They're all horrible. Jeffrey Epstein is horrible,
Well,
and Donald Trump is horrible.
If I say the ones that
all
I think
of them, George W. Bush, they're horrible. What? Well, they're nice murderers.
Well, you know, I don't know.
Well, I will acknowledge.
You know, some people might have just been having a really bad day.
Well, yeah, that is possible. I will. Well, I think that's the case of why Charles Bronson is in prison. He was having a bad day, wasn't he? He smashed some windows, and he's been in prison ever since. I love. I can't say I love him because I haven't met him, but I have a fondness for Charles Bronson. Because he makes these, I really like it, really like his paintings. And his poetry's great too. And I think he did, what on earth is that on my leg? You think he did...
Some sort of alien...
Yeah, I'm not allowed to say what that is on the radio. It is pardon?
It's reverse engineered.
Yeah, reverse engineered. Yeah, precisely. So, what was I talking about?
Charles Bronson.
Charles Bronson. I love Charles Bronson. He is a victim of a miscarriage of justice. Bronson. Johnson. Brustis.
I wanted to write a piece about him, didn't
I want to write a rock musical about the life of Charles Bronson. That's what I really want to do. I've wanted to do that. I mean, I've wanted to do the rock musical about Bronson as long as you and I have been in Idem, which is nearly 9 years, guys. How about that?
Yeah.
Pretty darn swish, huh? And and I tell you what, I love this day. Oh my goodness, I am overwhelmed on a daily level, and we all have to celebrate all of the great things in our life before Donald Trump blows up the world. Don't we? We have to do that. So today we are going to try and not be really miserable. I promise that I might sing again. That is a threat. And I don't mean right now. I mean, in the course of things, if something comes up, I have no repertoire. I just go on. I just go on my feeling and my instinct, as in my new appointment as karaoke laureate of the world, or at least Western Europe. I would say I do it now. The Infinite Karaoke Bar, as one of my many times daily practices as a practitioner of sonic arts and such like. But I tell you what, it's making me vocal cords ring like bells. I'm starting to hit higher notes than I used to. And it's good to just, flex those muscles. Because I don't really gig anymore. I used to perform a lot. I used to perform around Europe, etc., etc. And then, Brexit happened, and it made going to Europe very, very difficult. And no one hires me the last couple of years because of my position on Palestine, which has been, you don't kill everyone, which you would have thought was simple, but isn't. And I didn't condone this idea that it's sometimes okay to kill everyone, because it isn't. That's not okay. But I suspect maybe quite soon, maybe I may start to get work again, because the wider population of this country seem to be coming round to the idea that maybe it's not okay to kill absolutely everyone and to starve absolutely everyone. So, in the absence of going to do performances, I have instead become a high priest of karaoke. Now, you say high priest, or what? You mean you think you're so good at karaoke? No. It has nothing to do with being good at karaoke. I'm not saying I'm good at karaoke. But when I do karaoke, and Lottie can testify to this, do I not dress up as a high priest?
You do, but also in my new role, self-appointed, but also I've sort of met, aliens and that, so I figure it's probably it's a qualification of that, but in my new role as the sort of work from home hybrid Oracle of Delphi, we need that. But you're also the high priest, aren't you? Because the actual...
So I'm already a priest.
The actual role in the old days consisted of like the Oracle sort of ranted and sort of said stuff on a rock while they were really high, and then the priest translated it into hexameter. So you do that anyway. That's what we're doing now.
All of those things.
Pretty much. A lot of the time I am just ranting, and then you kind of write it into a poem about Tommy Robinson being Space Nadine Dorries. So
yes, that's
so it's the same, and I've told the Greek Board of Ministry of Culture over and over again, why when you sort out a mention on your website, they just won't reply to me. I don't understand.
Imagine being snubbed by the Greek Ministry of Culture
when
you are the Oracle of Delphi.
They've seen it.
Yeah, they've seen it.
And I asked
they
the
saw
internet.
Multiple ones, as far
I asked
as I
the
recall.
internet on its machine learning thing, and it said that I was the current Oracle of Delphi.
Yeah, that's wonderful. That's wonderful.
So functionally, I am. So if you want any advice, I've got loads of advice. I've got loads of advice. I've got some advice which is we shouldn't set up an entire society to accommodate the sort of delusions of a bunch of paedophile sex trafficker people. That's a bit of advice that you could I think maybe
we're gonna
taken on board.
We're gonna watch Eyes Wide Shut later on. Which it's a remarkable thing, in fact, and you guys listening everyone eventually is gonna have to accept that it looks like, with the exception of some outlandishly silly things like the Earth being flat and so on, that the vast majority of the conspiracy theories turned out to be 100% true. But like people are saying online, you can call them Satanists, you can call them lizards, whatever. What they actually are is just horrible people.
Yeah, don't call them lizards.
No, they are. These people are the worst.
It's got nothing to do with the lizards.
Are the worst of humanity, and they are what is revealed when, like, this libidinous. I mean, maybe it is at the core of humanity, but I would like to think it isn't. I would like to think it's something that's more cultivated. It's like if you like, well, it's like putting a copy of Playboy magazine in front of Jason Giorgiani and then walking down the street with it. It's basically that kind of mechanism. Whereas if you put a Playboy magazine in the street in front of me and walked away, I wouldn't want to go anywhere near it, because you don't know where that's been or what's on it or who's touched it or anything like that. I'm a very clean person, you see. I'm very clean. Aren't I very clean, Lottie? I'm not often very smelly, although my children did used to tell me that I used to smell of bolognese, but I don't think I smell of bolognese anymore. It was probably all the alcohol. I used to drink lots of alcohol, so I was much smellier. But now I don't drink any of the devil's wee-wee. Because it's horrible. Ugh. And it gives you a bad stomach. I don't want to put things in my body that give me a bad stomach.
You've got to stop blaming the devil for this. The devil's like pre-industrial.
Okay, Ronald McDonald's wee-wee. Ronald McDonald's wee-wee. Ronald McDonald, yes. Who is kind of the... People are saying on the internet that Donald Trump is the Antichrist. I would say Ronald McDonald is the Antichrist, actually. You know?
I would. Because I would say that Donald Trump is the logical end point of the system, and all of these guys' behaviour, and women, in the Epstein files, is basically what happens when someone has ultimate power and is on endless cocaine, and everybody says yes to every single thing that they want, and they think up most of their ideas on cocaine, and they're all really into like screwing other people over. So it just, I mean, it's sort of like, unfortunately it is kind of what I expected, but I didn't think it was going to be so institutionalised and involve sort of cannibalism and so much sort of ritual murder. And people have got to stop blaming occultism for this, because
it's
that's
not
the problem, is it? From the implication there, you're sort of saying that it works.
This Epstein stuff is satanic in the way that frat boy clubs consider themselves satanic. Frame this as a frat boy organisation that's got really out of hand.
That's gotten very... Like, frat boy organisation at the end of capitalism, basically. It's capitalism eating itself. And
frat boy organisation
rather eating other people. And literally, eating the poor. Like, that is what they've always wanted to do, isn't it? Oh dear, am I allowed to say that?
Yeah, you are allowed to say that, because that is the reality that we're living in.
Under, like, actual law, they've made it so that class isn't a protected characteristic anyway, presumably, so that poor people have no rights, but then simultaneously that means that I'm allowed to slag them off the rich as much as I want.
Yeah, well, that's fine.
Because at this point, I mean, I really just going back through things and just tying up how many times I've been screwed over by rich people, by this system and everything, and it would be... Well, it wouldn't be all right, but it would be
I've crossed paths with so many baby eaters.
So many people.
Many. Yeah, so many. And now you look back, you realise, oh my God, they were a baby eater.
That's why
they eat babies.
Dead.
And I have crossed paths and stood in rooms and had conversations with so many people who, now you look at it, obviously eat humans. for japes at parties with other rich people.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm not alone in this. Everybody all over the internet is saying, why aren't we more outraged? Are people really at the point where they'll just accept anything? And now the world, part of the reason stuff is so bad is because the people have let them all do this.
Yeah.
We allowed Donald Trump to get in when they were ejecting everyone from the Labour Party who was left-wing. Well, everyone allowed that to happen. You know? Everyone allowed this to happen. We as a people have allowed all this stuff to happen. And the people who have spent the last 2.5 years looking away from the genocide in Gaza or denying it's happening. I don't know.
Change. Denying basic reality things that are staring you in the face that we've been.
Well, but you don't know what's real. It might be AI.
There won't be AI. You can tell because AI is rubbish. It's not even AI.
This whole everyone has a choice to do whatever they want and follow every single material thing to its total extremity. I think is possibly maybe a bit of a selfish way to live and it's contributing massively to the problem.
Yeah.
It just all basically equates to having absolutely no respect for life at all, and whatever. Everybody always just demonises anyone who sort of says, "Well, do you think maybe you could consider not burning everything?"
Yeah. Precisely.
I don't know. Obviously, I'm not. But with the sort of everybody having to go away on holiday and get everything they want all the time, and then chuck it into landfill or whatever. But the going away on holiday thing, everyone goes away on holiday, and it seems that the result of that is everyone who lives in this country doesn't notice how awful it's gotten. So, because if you think about it, everybody drives. Everyone spends most of the time at work 9 to 5, and then they go on holiday or they do some leisure thing at the weekend. They don't spend their times walking around walking along the side of the road and everything. And then when you do that in places like Bristol, you realise that it's just disgusting. The whole thing is it looks like an apocalypse. And sort of I don't know, I think maybe people are avoiding the problem.
Yeah. When I was about 16 or 17, because I went and briefly I dropped out of it because I started doing far too many A-levels that I should have taken to do, because I wanted to do music and film and classical literature and history and theatre, and I ended up going down to classics and history and theatre. But I did film, and that was when I discovered people like Godard. And I got this book, which we actually have here downstairs, which is wonderful, being reunited with books I had when I was young, having been locked in a storage unit for a long, long time. But there's this quote in that book about in the traffic jam scene in his film Weekend, which is a really brutal film, a really horrible film, but also a very brilliant film. And the traffic jam scene was it's this long traffic jam in a single shot that goes on for a long time, and the reason he made that scene was he wanted to point to this idea that the system that people are forced to live in is that they give their whole life during the week so they can go away and have a wonderful time at the weekend, but then they spend the whole weekend, Saturday and Sunday, stuck in traffic jams. And when I was that age, I was just like, well, that's ridiculous. I can't do that. Don't we? I just always thought that life is really precious. I know many people don't agree with me, although they'll be saying they do soon, won't they? Many people don't agree with me that life is this very precious thing, and I think it's a dreadful thing that a human being should have to spend their life sitting in a call centre, calling people who don't want to receive the phone calls.
Stuff. I mean, I get extremely.
I think it is a waste of human potential, and I'm sorry if this. Apparently, this kind of thing is extreme now. This is radical, but I call the system of work in the way that we have it in this culture is invented so people waste their lives and can't actually use their life to do something that's actually useful or fulfilling and now look at it, and then you pay them your tax, and what's it all going to? It's going so billionaires can eat people, not just billionaires, millionaires. We don't know how far down this goes.
And the fact is, like, I've met
so many people who've obviously been involved with it.
I've met a lot of people who really look like there was something like, really look like a baby eater, and then, you find out that, like, they know certain other people who are confirmed as baby eaters, and it just sort of like...
It's terrifying.
Or, like, confirmed as knowing the sort of murder of people. I just don't know, like, isn't... it's like... Everything is kind of run by these sort of like organised crime things, and it's like that. I don't know. My family work in sort of rubbish type stuff, computery things, and they've talked about how, like, other countries, it's all run by really sort of organised crime units.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't understand why.
And this place is no exception.
Like, it seems a bit offensive to the people who are victims of it or still caught up in it to just disregard people like that. Really, I thought all the films that we've got about how, rescue films and all this sort of, like, saving people in the end of the world narrative and everything. So what was that? What are people just gonna? Oh yeah, well, I guess we'll let it all burn for the sake of, like, the depravity of some sadistic rich people.
Yeah.
Like, huh?
Yeah. And some people are trying to say now that the Marquis de Sade was actually trying to warn people. Marquis de Sade was saying this is what they get up to. And so, dear listener, clearly everything in this world is very fragile at the moment. America have been threatening, Donald Trump particularly has been threatening Iran with nuclear obliteration already, in which case we'll be talking about the end of the world. But no, let's just function like everything is la-di-da and life is an Ealing comedy.
It's all fine, put up some
and let's just add at this point, without using words that we shouldn't use on radio, we're both very, very happy and content in our lives at the moment, and well, in general, very, very happy and content as people and together and in our lives. With what we have now in here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 guinea pigs.
Yeah, and there's a couple, and there's a few, like, non-corporeal ones kicking about as well.
Yeah, ghost guinea pigs. But watch what happens, dear listener. Watch what happens if I...
No, you can't do
watch
it.
what happens if I do
mean.
this.
No, I haven't got any food. I can't. I've already given them so much.
We can give them pellets.
I haven't got any pellets.
Oh, really?
I have to get some more
I'm going to give them some hay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now listen, dear listener.
This is nice.
Listen.
Oh.
There's some hay for Tony Harrison and Lemmy Winks.
Who was previously Lemon.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's some hay for Butters, Liberace, and Little Vincey.
Vince Noir.
Vince Noir, of course. I forgot about that. Here is some hay for Alfred Schnittke and Jonathan Swift.
Yeah. I think he was called Oblong Jonathan.
Oblong Jonathan.
But I'm not sure. I think he's just Jonathan.
Here is some hay from Bohuslav Martinu and Federico Fellini. There.
Nice.
Now they all have hay, dear
little
listener.
hands, and I found out
They
that
do have little
raccoon-
hands.
The word raccoon means
little
he who
hands.
cleans his face with his hands.
Oh my goodness. He
With his hands.
who cleans his face with his
With
hands.
his hands.
Well, that's wonderful.
That's nice, isn't it?
Raccoon means
Yeah.
he who cleans his face
Yeah,
with his
yeah.
hand. Raccoon, well, like you said the other day, is a very nice name for a guinea pig.
Yeah,
Isn't it?
yeah.
So, well, now I've fed the guinea pigs. Like I said earlier, we're going to try and not be entirely morose, despite which, like, I don't know. I'm talking like, oh well, we shouldn't make a whole show that's just really depressing and morose. But literally,
No, I just.
but literally,
I don't know
Donald
what to
Trump
say at this
threatened.
point.
Donald Trump threatened to nuke Iran yesterday. Iran has the backing of China and Russia. If someone drops a nuclear bomb, that's the end of the world.
What?
And people seem to have, and I somehow missed out on it. I guess because I don't really use the internet very much and haven't really for a very, very long time. The last time I was really like someone who used the internet a lot would be like 2014, really, with the exception of fundraising for Palestinian people, but that felt different, very, very detached. But it seems to me that the internet has done this thing where it's desensitized people to an extent which is almost comical.
It's crazy. I
didn't expect to live in a world where you go 3-year genocide and people go, well, it's complicated. I didn't expect to live in a world where the Epstein files get released and people go, oh well, they've always done that sort of thing. What's happened? Or have people always been like that? The people who aren't like this, the people who aren't sort of going, oh well, it's got nothing to do with me. A, need their heads examined, but B, the people who don't feel like that need to talk to each other.
They do, and
and we need to figure something out because this is not good.
This is not sustainable. It's not.
And the fact that the newspapers and the television haven't been covering it, just been covering Peter Mandelson and Prince Andrew. It's not really about that.
No,
it's
there's a
much bigger than that.
people involved in this.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people involved in this, and I just can't believe that. I mean, the fact that I'd like to say a very good possible litmus test for is are they surprised? The person talking about it. I mean, Keir Starmer doesn't seem particularly. There's a lot of people who are kind of rushing to sort of go, oh no, I didn't do anything. I was like, why are you not weeping? Why are you not mortally embarrassed about the fact that you allowed that they allowed the thing through? Someone in if that happened to me and I was in charge of a company and I found out that someone was into that kind of stuff, I would be like, I would drop out of society weeping if you felt like you had any sort of responsibility for that. He doesn't seem to really care. None of them seem to really care. I was reading an article that someone had written where they were like, oh, it's terrible. I think Alistair Campbell wrote this maybe, and it was all about how, oh, it's awful what happened, which, that's the right response. And then he said, and I'm upset that it's made us, the rest of us, all look bad. Like, what? That's your takeaway from this? From like lots of people being murdered in sex trafficking? That it makes me. You're worrying about how you look.
Yeah.
bit of a weird thing to say, personally. Or maybe it's just that people have far fewer morals and standards that I thought. I wouldn't actually even say that not being into, like, murdering people is actually a I mean, I just thought that normal. I thought that was the basic thing. I thought
before the beginning of this genocide, we lived in a world, and I know I say this a lot, where no one had ever tried to justify the killing of a baby. Even in the Bible, the massacre of the innocents, it's kind of recognised in that text that it's a bad thing that King Herod did. But it seems now that many humans need basic morality taught to them. And this is not actually the younger generation. This is the older generations who should know better. And you should be ashamed of yourself now by this point, when after a 3-year almost Holocaust, and the evidence that the USA is responsible since 1945 for between 38 and 53 million deaths around the globe. And how many deaths around the globe have been caused by Islamic terrorism? Well, let me see. The number is a total of about 10,000. And this is not including, I'll note here, the Twin Towers, which I think was about 3,000 people. So we're talking post-Twin Towers. The number of people who have been affected by Islamic terrorism is about 10,000 people. And the majority of those are in the Islamic world. And the people who are mostly the victims of extreme Islamic terrorism, it's far right, the same as the far right we have here. Idiots. Violent idiots.
They don't actually really get on with each other.
They'd get on great with each other.
They've all the same morals.
Yes.
These people, they're all like deeply patriarchal as well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's what it's caused by, isn't it? So
about 10,000 victims of Islamic extremism worldwide since post-Twin Towers. Of that number, 600 are outside of the Islamic world. So we have spent the last 25 years being told that our great enemy is Islamic terrorism, when actually it turns out the great enemy is the people in charge who eat bebes. So yeah, every morning I wake up, it's very difficult to adapt to this reality. I find I'm wearing my pajamas for longer, and well, in fact, I have been dressing in all sorts of exquisite regalia. Today I did, for the first time ever, my Greta Garbo look, which was just amazing, just exquisite. Lovely kind of faux fur, beige-ish coat, and a lovely pink headscarf, and some great big sort of faux diamond sunglasses. And I sat around, I wished I had a megaphone so I could shout through it, "I want to be alone!" But I didn't. But I would have done it out of the... I would have done it... A what?
I had a megaphone once.
Well...
Somebody stole it at the Panto.
Yeah, someone nicked our megaphone.
I thought it was, I mean, that's...
I think I know who it was.
No,
I'm not going to say.
It could have been any one of the people who are obviously born into vast amounts of privilege, couldn't it? Because it's the kind of thing that you can really tell the sort of person that does that is the kind of person who has no respect for other people, and that usually comes from a position of having quite a lot of material comfort.
I just noticed that privilege is also privilege, which is the edge of an outside toilet. So that's nice, isn't it?
My name's an anagram of toilet.
Yes, it is. My name isn't, but my mouth is like a toilet, except when I'm on the Sound Art Radio, when I keep my language clean and lovely, all ready for the charming new head of Ofcom. And a white privilege would be an outside toilet that's made of conventional porcelain, rather than one of your compost toilets like all you hippies like.
Oh yeah, I'm not into those.
Oh no.
Why don't I go to Glastonbury?
I've had to do it once or twice in my life and never again. I'm never going to one of those places where you can't go to the lavatory like a normal person.
No, I think that I kind of feel as if, like, you know, we've been through all this human history and we've gotten to the point where that we have toilet systems, and I think it would be a slight to our ancestors to
go back to.
I feel like it's
dropping your torpedoes. There's another kind of pedo over a pile of sticks in one of those country parks or something.
like, right.
Didn't we have to go to a wedding?
Oh, we did, yeah, and I was told I wasn't allowed to urinate in it. And
Me too.
What? I'm not
going to walk in the woods and urinate,
really?
Especially when you're telling me that you're telling everyone else to walk into the woods and urinate. That doesn't tempt me to walk into the woods.
I don't know how it looked the next day, really.
Oh,
we
no.
left.
Yeah, we did leave. Thank goodness.
Yeah.
Thank goodness. Oh, honestly, at the moment, given the last 2.5 years, and that it seemed the vast majority of people, including, most of the people in my family, who now don't speak to me or think I'm an extremist or something, because I thought that a genocide was a really, really bad idea, and also because I'm not like dense as a brick. I could see through what was really quite obvious propaganda to the actual reality of what was going on, which has not been that difficult to see because it's been accessible on social media and on YouTube and on Al Jazeera and all over the place, and to kind of go for like nearly 3 years, man. Like, you people, if you've been acting that way, and if you're not someone who's been acting that way, you need to talk to the people you know who have been acting that way, unless you don't ever want to see them again.
Yeah,
but if you want to talk, if you want to maintain a relationship, you need to talk to them and tell them the actual, like, reality of history that they're living through, because everyone is so wildly into this sort of post-truth idea. There is no post-truth. AI doesn't mean nothing. It's nonsense. There is tangible reality. We know what's going on. We know what's been going on. We fundamentally know what is true or false, and there is a big trend among humans now
to
pretend that they believe things are true, which are quite blatantly false, like the flat Earth movement.
Or to hear somebody
the Israeli government
talking about something, and then they go,
Yeah.
and sort of just change the subject in this really insipid way, and I just find it's extremely frustrating, because there are concrete ways out of everything that we're currently in, and if you're not going to take that opportunity and sacrifice the literal planet, then I think that makes you an idiot.
Yeah.
And deeply amoral.
Yeah. And we are at a point now with
there's nothing there, it's just a hole.
There is literally an insane person with dementia who is the most powerful person in the world, who is threatening right now, during your lifetime, in your life right now, to drop a nuclear weapon. This is not being reported in the newspapers. then by this point, with the fact that none of the newspapers have talked in any detail about the Epstein files, nor of the television news networks, these media organisations are now defunct, and the only media organisations worth listening to will be independent ones, like this one.
I actually think of the reality of the fact that in the coverage of the Epstein stuff, okay, compare this to old-style journalism, like, I don't know, Woodward and Bernstein with Watergate, like, compare, like, to the fact that...
Was that Edward Woodward?
They haven't even... whenever anyone talks about it, they say women and girls, or they say weird euphemisms like underage women. But they haven't
I saw the other day.
They haven't even mentioned that it's the boys. Like, as in, like, the state of journalism at this point is not even mentioning.
Well, journalism haven't mentioned the babies. Nor the cannibalism. And I'm going to talk openly about it because that's what independent media is for. And, like, this is not conjecture or speculation. This is not conspiracy theory. I have not been a conspiracy-minded person. I go on what is apparent. I go on reality. And that's what anyone who is in any way a historian does. You go on reality. And you can see reality. But you just have to be consistently aware of propaganda, and if you are consistently aware of propaganda, then you're never going to be taken in by it. And the amount of people who have been willing to just, well, at the beginning of the genocide, the feeling that there was this, like, faction, well, no, I mean almost the entirety of British society, who I thought a lot about this bubble, which is a bourgeois bubble, and everything around them is in such the right place. Their water filters in the right place. Their beige interiors. Their mineral water dispensers that they always have. Their giant refrigerators. Their little inspirational quotes on the walls, their mirrors, their Alexa, everything is just so and in the right place, and these people have created a bubble for themselves that they've been in for so long that they have completely lost a grip with what reality is. And you will notice if you speak to people who have had a more difficult life, certainly on an economic level, if people have had a difficult life on an economic level and have had to worry about where they're going to live and have had to worry about where food is coming from and things like that, then you find yourself that you are talking with an actual intelligent person.
You have to
it seems to me
when you're poor.
It seems to me that the richer you are, the weirder and stupider you get. And if you want to say that's not true, I give you the elite of the Western world. And it is the Western world. People say all of them do it. No, this is a Western thing. The elite of this world are pervert cannibals who eat babies. It's, something has to give here. I can't wake up for the rest of my life in the world that is run by those people. I can't do that. That would be dreadful.
I mean,
in 20 years from now,
when I'm supposed to pitch myself for employment in this situation out of interest, like, I have been in so many situations where people have said, oh, well, I mean, I've met people who have offered to get me on a plane that evening to certain people in New York. And if that's kind of like one of the jobs, and then I went to another one and there was another group who were a different operation, and then you find out about all the people in like film. Obviously, I mean, we knew about all, and they're just sort of like, and also just everybody's behaviour attached to this these people who are influential, and then even if you don't know about it, or somebody who works for them doesn't know about it, the behaviour that comes at the top is going to like trickle down and influence everything else. So it just means that fundamentally everyone's well, there's not really any way of talking about it without swearing, but everyone's just really horrible. So that means that every single industry is like pitched towards just being a total. Why are we allowed to swear? Like, the reality is so much worse than me saying a bad word. We're a total flare. Like, it just, it's sort of, so where are you supposed to pitch yourself? Like, what's the point of anything now? What do I do? What do I do? I mean, like, is this why I've struggled so much professionally?
Oh, it's got a lot to do with it.
All these weird euphemisms that people get saying in the entertainment industry. Was I supposed to be doing something?
Yeah.
Then? I mean, like, well,
like we both said, the amount of times both being at different times near to the entertainment industry, and the amount of times that you've been sort of trapped in a conversation with someone who's repeating to you, "How much do you want it? If you're going to get this, you're going to want it. You need to want it. How much do you want it?" And I would always say, I don't know what you mean. I don't know what it means. What do you mean? I want to make music and release some records.
What is it?
Yeah, what is it?
Oh, well,
yeah.
I mean, turns out Stephen King was pretty much right, wasn't he? It was the Ronald McDonald
thing,
and all that represents. So,
But I would hate to be in the music industry now. It looks to me that to be in the music industry, you've got to wear like a sort of tight-fitting catsuit with the bum cut out of it. And I've got to have like explosives around me on the stage. I don't want to be around explosions. That's why I didn't join the army.
You know what I mean? I did watch the Beyonce show, and I did feel a little bit like I was.
When did you watch the Beyonce show? Was I asleep?
I can't remember. I just know that it looked
like Mussolini. A lot of it has that kind of.
It just looked like a political rally.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then I was watching, old footage of musicians in the 70s, and no one had any backdrops, and I don't know. When did the backdrop thing happen? I didn't even really notice it. That's the thing. Is I noticed that people had occasionally had a banner, and then suddenly that started going more, and then now every single band's got a big sort of
laser light
fascist projection.
Yeah, it's wild, and I find it. Well, most stuff in popular culture, I can't look at or listen to because I find it to be just in its kind of tone. I find it to be deeply unpleasant, and there's just something, and I think what it is when I was making the anti-fascist music, where I cut up little tiny fragments of pop music, that whatever was in the top 10 at the time to make new compositions. Whenever I would put something, one of these songs, like current songs, whatever a few years ago, into a timeline, you would see that the waveform is always one big rectangle, so there's no dynamic range in any of this music, and so it's just, and it upsets my stomach, this kind of thing. And if you look at, say, the waveform for even a very, very heavy Led Zeppelin song, it will have some variation. It will go up and it will go down. One exception to that rule is Sister Ray, which does look like a big long rectangle. And to me, there's something insidious about this whole thing, that there isn't any dynamic range, that everything is on the same level. Really everything is at the same volume. Why does pop music not have pianissimo programmed into it? The Beatles music has a huge dynamic range.
But is this
most music had a huge dynamic range until like, you know, the time, it's like 90s, 2000s, isn't it, when it starts to... I wonder why.
Gee, it's interesting that all of these people that involved themselves in all of the aesthetic trends in our society have turned out to all be, whatever you know, pedo murderers,
yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, and just that. This is the other thing that's been really bothering me. I don't really. Well, you're often very surprised, aren't you, that I don't know stuff, that I don't know songs, and that I haven't heard or haven't seen that or blah blah blah. Because I have always had this feeling, really deeply, since being very young. So I would say since being like 12, that I should really keep popular culture at a distance from me, and it just didn't. None. I think also none of it interested me. But as I've got older, I feel like I don't want to be near it. I don't want to be influenced by it in my thinking.
No.
I don't want to be influenced by it in my work. I don't want to be one of these artists who responds to the media kind of thing. I want to be able to think in a separate kind of way.
I kind of just feel like the entire media is just a large grooming project now.
Well, it rather looks that way, doesn't it?
Like, we watched this film, I don't know, I watched a lot of stuff that's terrible, I think, because
I
of
love
depression.
watching terrible films.
I don't know, I find
Which one was this?
I find humans very
I can't wait to
interesting.
see
It's part of my general research, also it helps to know, I don't know, I think the signs of potential sort of societal collapse are maybe hidden in its media, and as but this particular one was called After We Fell.
The film with the word that we can't
it's amazing.
say.
It's amazing. I got into trouble on an Amazon review because I described what the character was like, and they wouldn't let me say the rude word.
Let you say the rude word.
But on that, there was a scene with some horrible depictions of exactly how you shouldn't treat an intimate partner. Real macho-y stuff. Sort of the basic storyline of this film, I think, is it's an American girl. It's an American girl at like Yale or something, and she meets this British guy, and he's supposed to be like really dangerous and
he's so sexy.
So sexy.
He's
but, like,
so sexy.
It's interesting because it's like film, and it's this guy is just like he's just awful. He's a total, just like like what? Like why is this guy being portrayed as like a deep heartthrob bloke? But it's because it's for the American market that they think that this British guy is like unruly. I guess it's a sort of like Heathcliff type thing, but if you're British, you know that this guy's actually just like most people would think he was like, well, people who aren't into that sort of thing would think he was a total, Tarquin-y, sort of like rugger sort of bloke. Kind of thing. And when they were doing the scene with the sort of intimacy, there's like this Victoria's Secret product
Every single
placement.
time.
Every single time there's Victoria's Secret
Every single
product
time
placement.
before they copulate, there is a Victoria's Secret product
across
placement.
the woman's
and I was
crotch area.
I know. Well, I'm not gonna apologise anymore. Actually, I don't care if people want to fall out with me, but I was utterly aghast at that. That was, I mean, like, what? You mean we now present erotic scenes in narrative films with
a youth
product
audience. This was for
a
young
youth audience
adult
with
audience.
product placement for a company which turns out to be a centre of the whole trafficking thing.
Trafficking industry.
For this company every single time, and I started to feel at that point more like a screaming crazy person standing on a mountain, because I was just like, has our society really come to the point where this is normal, where commerce is written so deeply into things. The idea of a sex scene in a narrative anyway, they've only started to appear more in movies since the Harvey Weinstein age. The example, the instance of a sex scene in a narrative is only, it should only be there anyway if it's necessary to the propulsion of the narrative. If two people are in love, you know that they already do that. But an example of a sex scene being vital to the narrative would be across the entirety of Pasolini's Decameron, which are adaptations of stories from the Decameron, all of which feature sexual things going on as a central part of the story.
Canterbury Tales.
And yeah, all of Pasolini's work.
And of course, like Ken Russell's work has to have the sex scenes, because otherwise you wouldn't get the giant silky vagina in whatever it was.
Yeah, but Ken Russell doesn't really do sex scenes, does he? He does more just like references to. But I mean specifically the presenting the act of copulation within a narrative. Like anything within a narrative, should be something that propels the narrative. Otherwise, it's just gratuitous, and the majority of times, it's just gratuitous, and it doesn't propel the narrative. So, that's questionable. But when you add product placement into that equation, then you are fully just admitting that humans are now commodities, and the system via social networks has made the human the commodity. Anyway, but to me, that was like, so culture accepts this. This is normal. This didn't cause a scandal. Yeah. To me, that should be a scandal, because that's a really crazy. Horrible thing.
It's horrible, and it's sort of like, it's very strange that we've gone through this time of like liberation and everything has gotten like, it's way more sexist now. Like, it's sort of, people are far more into kind of this. Sort of, I don't know, isn't it sort of 30% of young boys think that, like, women should obey our husband, get back in the kitchen,
that's all coming back.
Like, what's wrong with you? Why aren't you cool? Why aren't, like, they're cool, the young, well, like, why are you supposed to be, like, playing guitar or something?
Yeah.
Or, like,
but also, they think that is reality, and they think that that's normal and what's always been. And, are you telling me that back in the days of what's the word for the old system, the feudal back in the days of the feudal system, I'm fairly sure that both the man and the woman and the child were working in the field for the lord of the manor, and the lord of the manor was probably eating children, and so was the lady of the manor, sitting around eating children, and probably were the children of the manor, sitting around eating children. So the whole idea that the woman's place is in the kitchen is from the 1950s. Well,
and also the other thing is, in the old days, we didn't even have kitchens. This whole thing of having your own kitchen and running a household is a modern invention. Like the term mess comes from mess hall. I don't know, I would have preferred that as a system. You go to like the place, the barn in the town, and you get like some stew and like some bread, and then you don't have to think about it or spend vast quantities of money. That sounds amazing.
Because it's a really heavy thing, this having to...
And borscht and goulash on a mountain next to a sheep. That's all I want. I want a nice existence far away from sex traffickers.
Yeah, that'd be nice, wouldn't it? But tomorrow I'm going to wake up again and I'm going to go, I live in the reality where a mad person with dementia is the most powerful man in the world currently, and the world is the corridors of power are entirely a trafficking ring oh, and there's been a genocide for 2.5 years. So we're meant to feel normal and get on with it and be good citizens. And like I said earlier, I'm not as a person, and in my personal life, you know, I'm a very, very happy, very content person in my personal life. I don't really demand much from the world. I like to make stuff, and I like to read, and I like to do kissing, and I really like animals, and I want to like kind of just have fun. And it doesn't cost me really anything to have fun. I can find fun in so many different things.
Have you ever tried playing Cat on a Stick?
Yeah, I have. It's a wonderful game.
That's a
Gary
great...
Barlow even likes Cat on a
he
Stick.
does like Cat on a Stick. Cat on a Stick is great. If you haven't played it, you should give it a go.
When Gary Barlow played Cat on a Stick, he said he'd never had such a great time.
And then you get a bit of string and you tie the can to the stick, and then you can do all sorts with it.
That's a wonderful
You
way.
can hit it in the air. You can hit it on the ground.
Yeah.
You can fill it up with water, and then you can play wet can on a stick.
Oh, wet can.
Or you can nail the stick, the can to the stick, and put it on the wall. Like we've got.
You know,
That's a great game. I had much fun.
when we were children, we used to, like, if someone gave us 50p or something like that, you would sometimes go to the shop and you'd be really excited because the shop would be selling bouncy balls. And you'd get a bouncy ball, and then you would sit probably in your hallway near the stairs, was the most fun, and you would bounce that damn ball for dear life, and it would go absolutely everywhere. It would be this completely uncontrollable weird thing, and you're watching weird physics, and it's fun and interesting and kinetic. And I have a suspicion that young kids don't go to the shop and buy bouncy balls anymore. I think they just look at their stupid phones. I'll just say here, if you're not familiar with my attitude to phones, is that I absolutely detest them, and I refuse to carry one around. We have one in our house, which the number of which we give to a very small amount of people.
It's good
it's
because
been broken for a long time.
And it goes into black and white all the
It
time.
does go into black and white. So it's like watching Oliver Stone's Natural Born Killers.
It takes a lot of the advertising stuff away. So you know,
does it?
well, not really, but you know, a lot of advertising is based on putting splashes of red to draw the eye into the bit where the product is. Takes all of that out, so I feel like it's a little tiny win against that.
Hey listener, if you're wondering what that sound is, that's the BT man outside. Drilling, doing his drilling. He's drilling for gold. That's what they're doing. BT men. They don't let you know that. But you know, come on. Now that all the conspiracy theories turn out to be true, we need some new ones. We need some fresh new ones. And this is one of my new conspiracy theories is that when you see those BT guys out drilling the road, they ain't fixing the phone lines. They're looking for gold, mate. Gold.
I thought they turned off all the phone lines.
Well, I don't know what they're drilling.
The phone thing.
I think they're drilling.
It was a mistake. We should go back to dial-up.
Can there be a silver lining in all of this darkness? Yeah, there can, and there is, and we already begin to see the silver lining. I have seen a lot of people talking and so on about the potentiality that this unifies people, because the system makes people argue about absolutely everything, and everybody is bickering and squabbling, left wing, right wing issues, butter, or margarine, and so on. And people are starting to realise, well, if some of my ideas could be construed as right-wing and some of your ideas could be construed as left-wing, we have in common that we aren't into elite cannibalism. And it's something that everyone, unless they're a crazy person who does that kind of thing, can agree on. It is going to be, I think, on a historical level, a great unifier. People will realise just who that common enemy is, just who has been causing you all of those problems. And so we need to come together, and we need to stop arguing about silly things. And I always thought the band Right Said Fred were brilliant, and they are, you know. And then they did a whole lot of interviews where they expressed right-wing ideas, as far as I recall. And I think some of them maybe recanted some of it later, or said they were misunderstood or something. But anyway, maybe they're a bit Brexity. I don't know. You know what that means, Brexity. And so I thought, as part of my thing of being the high priest of karaoke in the 21st century, not sure who was the high priest of karaoke in the 20th century, but in the 21st century, anyway, high priest of karaoke, that I should be singing songs by people who have opinions which differ to the things that I know to be true. Put it that way, because there is objective truth. If you're being a racist, it's basically wrong. I'm not saying Right Said Fred said anything racist. I'm not so precisely. I don't know what they said, but it was probably quite rightish, you know. And anyway, so I need to sing songs which are written by people who with whom I might not necessarily agree if we were going to have a conversation about global geopolitics. I need to sing songs written by them to show two things: the unifying power of knowing what's actually going on in this society, and to show the power of music to transcend opinions and to transcend petty things like arguments. I'll add to this before I sing you this song by Right Said Fred, and I bet you're chomping at the bit to know which one it was, because they have a few, don't they? So we are going to go into the number very, very soon. But basically my point is, whatever your differences of opinion, you can have a commonality in this. And so this is why I'm going to sing the song by the moderately right-wing Right Said Fred. It's definitely my favourite one of theirs. Definitely my favourite. Although I like the other one too, you know. I get the point. Not as well as it sounds. Deeply dippy about the curves you got. Deeply hot for the curves you got. Deeply dippy about the fun we had. Deeply mad for the fun we had. Oh my love, I can't make head nor tail of passion. Oh my love, let's set sail for seas of passion now. Deeply dippy about the way you walk. Favourite bit, a contact sport. Let the neighbors talk. Dippy, Dippy, I'm a Superman. Nice MIDI backing. I'll explain. You're my lowest lane. Oh, my love. I can't make it a tale of passion. Oh, my love. Oh, let's set sail for seas of passion now. Alright. Oh yeah. I hope it doesn't have a middle A. I have no idea what it is. Looks like there's quite a long instrumental section here actually. The little dots on the karaoke screen are moving along very, very slowly. I am using a karaoke machine for these, by the way. I don't have the words for all of these songs locked in my head, although I could probably whip this one out if I wanted to. We've still got another half of the dots to go till we come back in, so I'm presuming there isn't a middle and A. I'm guessing it goes straight back into the verse. Oh yeah, I remember this bit. Oh, it does, I remember now. No middle A. We forgot about the bridge. Where's that goddamn bridge? Dippy, Dippy, about your Spanish eyes. Sierra smile. Legs that go on for miles and miles. Oh, see those legs, man. Miles and miles. I said, oh, my love. I can't make head nor tail of passion, oh my love. So let's set sail for seas of passion, oh my love. I can't make head nor tail of passion, oh my love. So let's set sail for seas of passion now. I'm taking a hike to Tahiti. Now, I did not know about that line at the end of that song. I am actually amazed that he said he was going to take a hike to Tahiti. And I honestly feel that I really started to feel fairly sensual during that, and really now there's nothing to do but this, really, is there? When you say this, and this is by a lovely man with whom I hope I would have got on very well. I don't know. Let's hope. Hey. Alright, said Fred, both of us together, one each end and steady as we go. Trying to shift it, couldn't even lift it, we was getting nowhere. And so we had a cup of tea, and right, said Fred, give a shout for Charlie, up comes Charlie from the floor below. After straining, even and complaining, he was getting nowhere. And so we had a cup of tea, and Charlie had to think, and he thought we ought to take off all the handles and the things. I don't know this bit. Well, the candles, but it did no good. Well, I never thought it would. All right, said Fred, I have to take the feet off. To get the feet off, wouldn't take them out. Took its feet off, even took the seat off. Should have got us somewhere, but no. So Fred said, let's have another cup of tea. And we said, right-o. Alright, said Fred, I have to take the door off. Need more space to shift the so-and-so. Had bad twinges, taking off the hinges, and it got us nowhere. And so we had a cup of tea, and right, said Fred, I have to take the wall down. That there wall is going to have to go. He took the wall down, even with it all down, he was getting nowhere. And so we had a cup of tea, and Charlie had a thing, and he said, look Fred, I've got a sort of feeling if we remove the ceiling with a rope or two, we could drop the blighter through. All right, said Fred, climbing up the ladder with his crowbar, gave a mighty blow. Was he in trouble? Half a ton of rubble landed on the top of his dome. So Charlie and me had another cup of tea, and then we went home. I said to Charlie, we'll just have to leave it standing on the land, that's all. You see, the trouble with Fred is he's too hasty, and you never get nowhere if you're too hasty. Right, said Fred. How about that? Deeply Dippy by Right Said Fred, followed by Right Said Fred by Bernard Bresslaw. Because you have to, in this day and age, I'm not Bernard Bresslaw, but you have to sing songs by people who have differing opinions to you, and Right Said Fred has boldly claimed in their name are at least moderately right-wing. So this is just part of my continuing project as the 21st century high priest of karaoke to spread unification by being me, a raging space communist, to sing songs by a raging space communist with a beautiful, fulsome head of hair to sing songs by bald right-wing people. Now, you see, this is how we bring everything together, bring people together in these dark and dissident times. Outreach. Lottie has just discovered that the guinea pigs really enjoy things like turnip and squash.
Turnips, but I've got a squash. I just gave them the squash.
Do they dig the squash?
They do.
I'm surprised about the name for squash. I don't get why it's called squash, because it's really hard. You can turn your squash. It goes through alchemical transmutation, your squash, because if you leave it for a long time, it turns it into a gourd, and then whack a stick in that, got yourself a guitar. Or, did you know that if you just leave them to dry and dry and dry and dry, then eventually you get yourself a maraca, because all that flosh on the inside withers away, and you're left with those seeds inside that gourd.
Wow.
And so then you can even put a stick in it and put a string across it, and then you've got a guitar maraca.
Right. And then the interesting thing is, I guess the seeds would probably still be able to germinate, and you could plant the guitar, and then it would grow into
That's wonderful.
a guitar plant.
Yeah.
That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Even if it's just
You might sing a song.
if you let your gourd dry out so it's a maraca, and then you plant the maraca, will the seeds sprout, or will they just be locked inside the maraca?
I don't know, maybe they need sort of to be closer to the soil. I don't know anything about gardening.
Yeah. If you planted
I will soon though.
If you planted just a normal maraca, would it grow anything?
It might.
Yeah.
It might.
Do you remember that band we saw at Cafe Otto called Bag of Maracas? They were amazing. They were like lo-fi
music.
Maraca.
I'm so glad that now The Wire hate you.
Oh, it's great.
And also me, but no one will ever acknowledge that I'm there.
Yeah, you can just be honest.
Everybody hates me through you. Because
yeah.
they like to pretend I don't exist, even though I can't see them.
Yeah.
It's really nice now that I don't have to pretend that I like watching talentless laptop guys who going.
Yeah. But you're doing your hands with that, and they ain't even doing that.
They should put some contact mics on their beard and put it through some effects pedals when they're doing their sort of beard grooming.
The last time we saw laptop guys at Cafe Otto, I nipped outside to smoke a cigarette, and it's got the window over the front, like a window where you can look in and see the whole thing. So I went you can get kind of behind the stage, so you could see. I am genuinely, I'm a composer, so I'm genuinely curious what kind of software these guys are using and so on to make these sounds, and I went and looked, and they were all doing their online shopping. There's 3 of them: Sainsbury's, Morrison's, and Tesco's.
Waitrose.
They were all.
They all.
Oh yeah, one of them was Waitrose. You're right.
They must do.
Yeah, there was at least one. There was
Whole Foods.
But do Waitrose deliver, or do you have to eat babies to get? I don't
know. Yeah, maybe that's it. You got. Oh dear. Oh, we're going to get into trouble. Oh, I don't care. You know what I mean?
No, I mean this is all public
record. Through all the stuff, and
I've
been exposed to sort of male pathologies so much at this point.
And if we're literally in the potential apocalypse, then we need to talk about it.
I think we should talk about it.
Yeah.
I don't. You start to wonder about the modelling thing, whether it was actually just some sort of farm, really.
Yeah.
I mean, it felt like a farm. There was one particular point when they got me in to take pictures in my pants, and they took some Polaroids, and then my agent at the time circled the bits of my body that I would have to get rid of, that I should lose. Now, don't do it in an unhealthy way. I think that means you're supposed to do it in an unhealthy way, doesn't it? And when they're saying things like, you don't have to do anything you don't want, I think that means that you do have to do things that you don't want, because otherwise why would you be introducing the concept into it? Because normally when you work, people don't introduce the idea of sex work, do they? Wow! My mind is being blown every day by the fact that people say one thing and they actually mean the other thing.
Yeah.
So why don't you just say?
Say the thing that you mean.
I assumed that they were all perverts anyway.
Apparently, this is the thing. They say
Victoria's Secret.
They say that autistic people
straight,
can't read social cues.
You know what I mean? There's obviously why would you be interested in women's pants if you're a straight man, unless you were sort of a pervert? It sort of seems pretty obvious, doesn't it? It's the question always of why would you become a gynecologist if you're a man?
Valid question.
I've always wondered this.
And every single time...
I wouldn't want to do the opposite. I wouldn't want to go and look at that.
No, every single time you
flapping about in the wind. I don't want to see that.
Are there any female doctors that specialise in men's willies? Are there? I mean, call in. We'd love to interview you.
I'm intrigued. Why would you want to go? I mean, you're exposed to it metaphysically so much. The other day, I had that dream, didn't I? And I woke up from it because of the Guinea Pig's very visible sphincter, which he's admittedly, since he's got a bear, he's sort of stopped brandishing it so much, but it was getting to me so much.
That's it. It was brandishing it.
I had a dream.
Sorry, listeners, if you were tuning into the show where we talked about this for pretty much 2 hours.
It's embedded in the walls, the architecture of the dream. It's kind of like that with men's with sex and just the constant men's sort of external thing.
Well, it's very visible.
Fruit, flapping about in the metaphysical space, flapping about.
Do you remember that period where David
situation everywhere
David
all the
Beckham
time.
In tight white underpants was on billboards everywhere? That was horrible.
I mean, I don't understand why people find him attractive. As far as I'm concerned, he's the Yoko Ono of the Spice Girls, and I like Yoko Ono. But the way that people disparagingly talk about Yoko Ono. In fact, actually, John Lennon was the Yoko Ono of the Beatles, and John Lennon was the Yoko Ono of Yoko Ono, because she was the better artist. She had a perfectly good career before that bloke came along and ruined it all.
Yeah, she did. And David Beckham has got, like Bob Dylan, and Andrew Tate, a lot to answer for. hasn't he? Remind me who I'm talking about?
David Beckham.
David Beckham, right? Because he literally is the Yoko Ono of the Spice Girls. He ruined it. He wouldn't let Victoria
go on
join
tour.
the reunion.
Like,
and imagine Victoria sat there.
Said, "Oh, it's not good for the brand." Oh, come on!
As if Posh Spice has to listen to shareholders.
Come on,
their lives are falling off. Surely Posh Spice. Surely she can do whatever she wants. Yeah.
I'm going to canonise them in my new church.
Oh, the Spice Girls should definitely.
Oh yeah, they'd be at that.
They want to leave their boring husbands though. Come on, girls.
Do. I mean, like Jerry.
They're way better than
she hasn't even played her music to her husband's like, no, don't play in the house.
Don't corrupt the children by showing them the Spice Girls.
What happened to girl power?
Exactly.
I mean, I'm really deadly serious about this. I'll have you know that I'm a shareholder of the Spice Bus.
Lottie is a shareholder in the Spice Bus, which we once went and stayed in one night and made a wonderful movie. No, not that kind of movie. It was actually turned out to be Jean-Luc Godard's final movie, didn't it?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah. And Lottie is a shareholder in it. And,
I am.
And as a shareholder, should be able to say, Spice Girls,
authority.
Leave your boring boyfriends.
Yeah, do leave your boring boyfriends. Maybe that's when the 90s dream finally died. Actually, when all these blokes, like, I don't know, I feel like it was a conspiracy. All these blokes came along, like, well, we'll be stopping you doing that.
Yeah. I just wonder it. You know, because we know what all those people are doing now. But what is what's Gina G doing now? Does she live off the royalties forever of Ooh Ah Just a Little Bit? But that would imply that she wrote Ooh Ah Just a Little Bit, but maybe Ooh Ah Just a Little Bit is still played so much that she can live just off the royalties of Ooh Ah Just a Little Bit. And in fact, the way that would work, it would be that she would have made a large amount of money when Ooh Ah Just a Little Bit was first released, and then, you know, every PRS time it would be topped up just a little bit to keep Gina G afloat, and yeah, maybe never needing to work a day job.
I didn't realise it was Eurovision.
Yeah, it was Eurovision.
Wow, that's actually pretty good.
Yeah. Well, dear listener, now it's time to really get serious. As we possibly have talked about before on this show, science suggests that there are primordial black holes all over the place, and that things can disappear into them, and that this might explain where things like your missing socks go, or your missing pencil sharpener, your plectrums, etc., they get sucked into little tiny primordial black holes. However, you do, you notice, you're familiar that socks and so on go missing. They're small items, and you know, if a very large item goes missing, like your flat screen TV or something like that, then you know you're going to know it's a robbery. But there are those in between things that sort of, you know, they don't fit into a state of being like a big thing or a small thing. And you think about it, I mean, it doesn't look like there's been a burglary, but surely it's too big for a primordial black hole. What happened to my lovely blue towel? And I can reveal to you, dear listener, that if your towel has gone astray, if any towels in your house have gone astray, if you were staying in a hotel room and there were 2 towels in there, you get back and there's only 1 towel, well, that is not, and this is true, that is not primordial black holes. That is the wife of Benjamin Netanyahu who does, I have read from a few sources that apparently Netanyahu's wife is like a kleptomaniac, but specifically for like towels and other kind of. I mean, what are the other things you get in hotels? You get tea bags and coffee and biscuits.
Things with jam.
I bet you she's got a cupboard full of those little pots of jam. And like, I bet you that.
I mean, hey, I always take the jam. I always take the jam.
Yeah, of course.
Like, you know,
but I think that Netanyahu's wife, though, I think that when she's at like the hotel breakfast and there's all the little things of jam and marmalade and butter, I think she gets a handful and pockets them. Don't you think? Because she just wants to get as much as she can from the hotel. She's a kleptomaniac for nicking things from hotels. And this is not like libelous or anything. This is literally true. It's as true as my little father's fixation with cheese. Speaking of little father, he has been this week, because I always keep abreast of what he's doing. This week he's been out and about, hasn't he?
He has.
He's been out on the range. He's been out doing.
Was the guitar one from this week?
No, the guitar one is an old.
I mean, I thought that was quite touching, really.
He's been out with his daughter, doing some shooting.
Right.
He's been teaching his daughter how to do some shooting, because apparently.
No, all right, sorry. I think we meant not like filming.
Not filming. No, shooting.
Oh, that's a shame.
Shooting with guns. Well, you know, if she's going to be supreme leader of North Korea, she's got to know how to wield a piece.
Yeah.
Ultimately, you know, wouldn't you feel just a little bit safer knowing that if the situation came to it, your great leader could wield a piece? Yeah, it's complex, isn't it? It's complex.
I'm against violence.
Okay, but what if you were one of the countries that America was always going on about? Wouldn't you want your supreme leader to be able to wield a piece?
Well, I mean, yeah, fair enough.
If it came to a shootout between Trump and Little Father, I think I know who you'd want to win.
I really don't like sort of think that we should support like paedophiles, basically.
No, exactly.
I don't think we should like be elevating people who've had lots of people killed.
No, we shouldn't. Except Little Father. But Little Father is absolutely not the first thing that you said. Little Father is also a good father to his daughter. He reads to her books by his father, and he shares his Emmental with her. He shares his music taste with her. He puts on the Moranbong band for her all the time. And his more private taste. He does have some private musical tastes that, you know, you're not supposed to be into stuff from the West, but he's just a sucker for Wham.
Well, I think I saw the Moranbong band doing Let It Be, maybe, or something like that.
Really?
Well, I could be wrong, actually. That might have been the Russian Interior Police Choir.
Well, the Russian Interior Police Choir, they're just on a level above all other musicians, really, aren't they?
I mean, it's just amazing.
I've been trying to get the guy in Co-op to listen to the Russian Interior Police Choir sing and Get Lucky for months now. And I asked him today, in fact, hey, have you listened to the Russian Interior Police Choir covering Get Lucky yet? And he said, no, I haven't. And I said, well, make sure you do it today, because it's going to blow your mind. I mean, so he might have done it.
We might have all died by tomorrow, you never know.
Yeah, that's true. But he did go away and listen to Sucks in Northerner by the Pet Shop Boys.
You know, tomorrow has to become today to deal with it. You don't have to bother.
That is the best.
There you go. I live my life by that motto. I'm not entirely sure what it means, but I think that's part of its charm.
We live our lives by that motto, which is a motto that was on one of them really pretentious tea bags that gives you spiritual advice.
I'm pretty sure That's a front for a
Yeah,
cunt. It looks
but
like a cunt.
unfortunately, I really like the taste of all this spicy tea.
It's nice,
but I
isn't
usually
it?
can't really afford it,
I
so I don't
can't
really
afford
get it very often because it's like £4 a packet for
£4.
15 tea bags. But it does give you all of this amazing, invaluable advice, and the motto that we live our life by, both of us, we live our lives by this credo, which was on a yogi tea bag. And I quote, tomorrow has to become today. To deal with it, you don't have to bother. Yeah.
It's, you know, it's the phrase that launched 1,000 ships.
Tomorrow has to become today. To deal with it, you don't have to bother. We don't know what it means, but we try to live by it nevertheless.
Oh, it's great.
If you know what it means, dear listener, then send your answer written on a little piece of cardboard attached to a tea bag and send it to Sonar Radio, Higher Close, Dartington. What brought us onto the subject of yogi tea bags? I have absolutely no idea. You're pointing.
I am pointing.
Pointing. I read a very funny book by Paul Merton called The History of the 20th Century or something like that back in my teenage years. And I remember it had a recurrent theme all the way through it, which was pointing. And so it just kept coming back to various historical figures who were keeping up the fashion of pointing, which took the world by storm throughout the 20th century at various junctures. Me, I like a bit of pointing.
I do. It can be kind of threatening.
It can be threatening. You do this pointy, witchy thing where you turn your face into a terrifying and marvellous grimace.
Yeah, I'm going to be doing it more.
You do it quite
now
often.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm going to be doing it to a lot of people.
But, you know, dear listener, this is a game you can play now we're in the post-Epstein revelations age. You can play, because they're kind of everywhere, apparently. You can play Spot the Cannibal. And I've been playing it, it's great fun. And I've seen a few definite contenders.
I mean, there's so many people who... There's just some weird, distorted ego thing going on, and I don't know. I mean, I've been in enough rooms with men crying about various things that they can't tell anyone else, and like crying on me. I've been in these situations with people with like blokes' pathologies, loads, and women's. And, you know, I don't know, I just kind of get the impression with a lot of people's behaviour that if they had more power, more money, more facilities, more ability to enact these behaviours, I wonder whether or not they would be saying no if they were offered this kind of stuff.
Yes, it's interesting, isn't it?
I don't know,
it's interesting to find out how corruptible
just think about the amount of times that I've nearly gone killed. I think from now on I'm going to just take this as a given and trust no one like Mulder.
Like spooky Mulder, trust no one. Trust no one.
More
things than one.
Apart from the fact that it was all run by paedophiles.
Yeah.
I mean,
Mulder is going to be seen as the Nostradamus of our age, except the things that he said actually mean something rather than just being sort of cryptic blather to please a king.
I don't know anything about Nostradamus.
Well, have you ever read Nostradamus?
No.
It's it's all very abstract.
When was
so
it? The 2012
you could say
was it that or was that something else?
Oh, I don't know. Was that the Mayan
to be
thing?
fair, everything did sort of start to go really wrong about there. I mean, it was already pretty bad, but there wasn't quite as much like open sort of fire everywhere.
Yeah, well, Nostradamus is very
less
overrated.
fire is good.
Nostradamus, I would say, is very overrated as a prophet. His prophecies, which I don't know, I can't remember exactly, but it was something to do with like his patron, he made money by giving the king these prophecies.
Yeah, see,
And
old days I could have done that as a job, but I really just don't have the industries anymore to support people like me. Wait, sorry, his prophecies were was it? It was one of the early internet ones that everyone.
Yeah. Well, shall I tell you? So they're all very loose, Nostradamus' prophecies, and they can be. Well, they're so loose they can be interpreted as anything. So I'm just looking online now at like his prophecies which have come true. So let's see if you can guess. This is a great game. Can you guess what this Nostradamus prophecy is? Within 2 cities there will be scourges like have never been seen.
Gentrification?
Guess again.
Cities getting larger. I don't know.
That was the atomic bomb.
Oh right. Well, I mean, yeah, that's not.
Guess what? Guess what this one is about. Let me see. Where's the actual text?
We should have some music on this bit, like da 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 da.
Oh yeah. From on high, evil will fall on the great man. A dead innocent will be accused of the deed.
Some sort of like, I don't know.
No?
A volcano, and then you blame it on some woman that you don't like. I mean, that's usually
no. That was. It was so unrelated to it. I've forgotten what it was. Oh, that was JFK.
What?
That was JFK. But in apparently for this year, and this shows you how this kind of thinking works, is that they think that it's going to be this year because the passage correlates apparently to the number 26. You're going to be excited by this one. This is going to happen this year. The great swarm of bees will arise by the night ambush. Mm-hmm.
Well, there's going to be bees.
There's going to be a great
it's going to be a bumper year for
bees.
Well, that's great news.
Also,
bees are going to make a comeback.
But also this year, the great man will be struck down in the day by
that would be nice.
A thunderbolt.
I mean, I think maybe his behaviour's gotten so bad that the gods are probably going to... I mean, I think, sort of Jesus would be turning in his grave, wouldn't he? Or he's supposed to be still alive, isn't he? Well, he's turning in his clouds then, just turning and turning, going, oh, God, oh, God, oh, God. And then God's going... Yes, you just got to accept it, son, it's difficult, I'll stop talking to me, I'm going to do some woodwork. That's probably what's happening, isn't it?
Yeah. Songs, this is another Nostradamus prophecy that came true. You got to predict what it is. Songs, chants and demands will come from the enslaved held captive by the nobility in their prisons. At a later date, brainless idiots will take these as divine utterances.
Society?
No.
I don't know.
That was the French Revolution.
Oh.
Okay, now, are you going to I am going to read you some Nostradamus prophecies now that maybe haven't been that maybe haven't been fulfilled, and you can guess what they might be, what might,
So what? So I have to prophesise about the prophecy?
You've got to prophesise what the prophecies
Oh yeah,
are.
okay, well let's give it a go then.
Okay.
And we can find out like next week if it's true.
Okay.
If they happen.
Oh yeah,
It might not be this week.
Hang on a
In a few
minute.
weeks, but we can call it now and then see if any of it's correct. It'll be fun.
Well, if it is going to be the apocalypse and they drop a atomic bomb and all that, then that would mean all Nostradamus' prophecies have had to come true. So it can't be the end yet. I'll read you this. Profonde agile blanche nourrie rocher, qui dans l'abysse mistral lacticinus.
I mean, I'm not going to know to be
Okay,
French,
I'll do it.
I'm afraid.
Okay.
I thought maybe like
Okay.
30% of that.
The rock holds in its depths white clay, which will come out milk white from a cleft.
Oh God.
Needlessly troubled people will not dare touch it, unaware that the foundation of the earth is clay.
Right, sorry, read that bit from...
The rock holds in its depths white clay, which will come out milk white from a cleft. Needlessly troubled people will not dare touch it, unaware that the foundation of the earth is of clay.
I mean, what was the context that he was...
How was he?
Well, what had he done directly before?
He just wrote these little quatrains for the king or something.
Right.
I'll give you another one.
set to music and...
No, they were just given because the king was convinced that he was a prophet. So,
good for him.
what is this one? I love this one.
I mean, I think it sounds like it should be a musical.
Maybe we should make a musical.
Like, he's obviously just sort of...
What's this one prophesying? A thing existing without any senses will cause its own end to happen through artifice. At autant, chalin, longue, and the two sons, there will be great damage from hail and ice. The third line was a list of places.
Oh, sorry, read it again.
A thing existing without any senses will cause its own end to happen through artifice. At autumn, chalin, longue, and the two sons, there will be great damage from hail and ice. I don't know.
I mean, that sounds quite a lot
What's it
like
sound
Donald
like?
Trump, doesn't it? He's got no senses and he's going to cause his own downfall.
Hey, that does sound quite a lot like Donald Trump. Okay.
And then there'll be loads of climate disaster because they're burning the thing that we depend upon for life. Well done, everyone. Really.
Yeah, wonderful.
Just, you keep driving your 4x4s and eating your dead animal's corpse that is really obvious what is the problem, but whatever.
Oh, this one's nice. The city is besieged and assaulted by night. Few have escaped. A battle not far from the sea. A woman faints with joy at the return of her son. Poison in the folds of the hidden letters.
I would say any war.
Any war?
That's sort of near the coast.
Well, then that's just kind of general, isn't it?
Considering most cities are sort of built near a water thing, then that would imply every war, unless it's like in the fields, in the trenches. So wars by the coast.
Yeah. Okay. What about this one? Has this happened yet in history, or is this going to happen in the future? In a short time, sacrifices will be resumed. Those opposed will be put to death like martyrs. There will no longer be monks, abbots, or novices. Honey shall be far more expensive than wax.
Well, I mean, that's sort of now, isn't it? And
Honey, is honey more expensive? I'm not really sure.
Sex trafficking thing. Yeah, honey is more expensive than wax.
How expensive is wax?
Well, I mean, it depends what context. Do you mean like a big thing of wax? Wax will be cheaper than honey.
Yeah.
I mean,
it
should be like that because the honey is like made by the bees, isn't it? So, but you know, wax is good as well.
Yeah, I mean, I really like wax.
What do they mean in as opposed to like the beeswax?
Okay, here's another one for you. A child without hands, never so great a thunderbolt seen. The royal child wounded at a game of tennis. At the well the lightning strikes, joining together, three trussed up in the middle under the oaks. I suppose we could find out if any royal kid hurt their hands playing tennis. Could be interesting.
There's a lot of people.
Do you know, listeners, of any royals?
There are a lot of people bombing children's playgrounds and stuff. So at the moment,
Well, yeah, that is true.
That is a thing that's really popular. So.
Yeah. So, what is this then? The divine wrath overtakes the great prince a short while before he will marry. Both supporters and credit will suddenly diminish. Counsel, he will die because of the shaven heads.
Well, I mean, maybe the shaven heads like sort of punk undercuts.
I'm not sure. He's not specific.
Is it like mohawks? Is there
don't
going to
know.
be a punk resurgence?
That could be Nostradamus predicting a punk resurgence.
And that's going to get rid of the big orange, the man who's evil.
They're pretty, as you flick through them as well, they're pretty repetitive. Oh, this is a good one. Brothers and sisters captive in diverse places will find themselves passing near the monarch. Contemplating them, his branches attentive, displeasing to see the marks on chin, forehead and nose. What's that one all about then?
I mean, it's like I always say, tomorrow has to become today to deal with it. You don't have to bother.
That's basically what he's trying to say,
I mean,
isn't it?
he's
Tomorrow has to become
he agrees with
today
me
to deal with it.
That's my motto.
You don't have to bother. And so, dear listener, if you've taken anything from these 2 hours of
just know
apocalyptic radio, just know that
tomorrow has to become today to deal with it. You don't have to bother.
the eagle, driven back around the tents, will be chased from there by other birds. When the noise of cymbals, trumpets and bells will restore the senses of the senseless lady. That could be about Liz Truss or Nadine, couldn't it? Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, that could also be
It could also be
UFO
about,
sort of interaction with war zones.
yeah.
I mean, I don't know what you want me to say. I've been abducted by aliens. I've met the big manted man. His name is Gregor Samsa, like the Kafka thing. I hope he doesn't mind that I call him that. But I don't know. Loads of other people have met him. We've seen all the UFOs and the big triangle, and I just think that the universe is maybe a little bit bigger than this like thing, which is obviously mostly driven by a bunch of rich blokes who are in a frat club who think it's really funny to
that's what it is.
blow up loads of land, and all the people in charge have never been poor, they've never been cold, they've always had absolutely everything handed to them on a plate, and they think it's all a big game and it's like funny and stuff, and none of them respect life, none of them have, they kind of like, you know, psychopaths have got this thing where they can't see their own mortality. They think that they're immortal. Like, even when they're dying, they don't think about it.
Yeah.
You know, so you're dealing with a load of people who have absolutely no respect for life, including their own. Because, like, if they had respect for their own, they've got respect for, well, they've got a inflated sense of ego, obviously, but if they had respect for life, including their own, they wouldn't be burning the planet. So, like, they've obviously got absolutely no fear about, like, basically killing themselves with their own behaviour and everyone else. So, I can't remember what the point was, but I'm supposed to support that, am I?
Yeah.
I mean, it's stupid. It's stupid.
Yep. Well, folks, this has been Sound Art Radio, Magical Fun Time, with sexy Ergo and sexy Lottie. And remember, love each other. Tomorrow has to become today to deal with it. You don't have to bother.